5 ways to seamlessly handle interruptions and stay in flow. The average worker only gets 11 hours of work done before they're interrupted. And after they're interrupted, it takes an average of 23 minutes, 11 seconds to get back on task. So it's not a matter of if you're going to get interrupted at work today, it's just a matter of when. So in your work and in your professional career in general, it pays to have a strategy to handle these interruptions and get back into flow so you can get your work done. So let me share with you 5 quick strategies that you can apply today in order to do that. So number 1 is to anticipate the interruption. Now, you know there's going to be interruptions, right? And you probably, if you look back over your last 3 or 4 interruptions in your workday, it's probably comes from a small group of people. So whoever that is, anticipate that they're going to want to follow up with you today, and go ahead and either send them an update email or stop by their office and say, hey, I'm about to dig into this big project. Is there anything I can do on this other thing before I get started on that? So head them off at the pass and take care of that in advance. Very effective strategy. The second one is so overlooked, and it's to set a good example. So if you've got a team, this is especially important. If you're going around throughout your workday interrupting people, then guess what? They're going to just assume that you don't mind getting interrupted yourself. So let's start today. Please start today setting a good example for other people. If you really need to interrupt somebody, ask, is this a good time? And if they say yes, but you can kind of tell it's really not, they're just being nice, just keep it really, really brief and quick, or say, you know what, I'll just come back later and check with you then. Number 3 is to have an upfront conversation. And this is similar to anticipating the interruption, but if you have an upfront conversation with your team or your manager, and you just let them know that you're working on a really big project and how important it is to have dedicated focus and time, and that you really need to get this thing done, people oftentimes are respectful of that. But if you've never had the conversation and it's just sort of part of the office culture or team culture to allow interruptions whenever, then don't assume that they're going to get it. So again, have that upfront conversation. Number 4 is to have a go-to script ready. So when someone comes in and they say, hey, got a minute, but you know it's never just a minute, say, you know what, I'm in the middle of something really big right now. Would it be okay if I check back with you later? That's one script. Or you can say, you know what, I'm in the middle of a big project right now. Could you set a meeting for later in the day or tomorrow? On my calendar, it's up to date. So that puts the onus on them to actually find time on your calendar to come back. And after you do that a couple times, people will start to understand the best way to interact with you on those types of projects. Then the 5th thing might feel a little bit edgy, but it's again a very important technique for getting out of the distraction world, the interruption world, and back into being on flow in your work, is to proactively book an appointment with yourself. So people aren't always taking up your time, blocking your own time for you for their projects. You've also carved out some time for yourself. So number 1 is to anticipate the interruption as it's going to come later today and have those conversations. Number 2 is to set a good example for you and your team. 3 is to have upfront conversations about how the interruptions affect your flow and how you prefer it to sort of be handled in the future. Number 4 is to have a go-to script already prepared when it happens. And then number 5 is to proactively book an appointment with yourself. So choose one of these 5, try it today in your workday, report back in the comments, and let me know how this goes for you. Thanks.